So I'm excited to get started, and I'm excited to introduce our welcoming speaker, my boss, Dan Porterfield. Dan is CEO of the Aspen, President and CEO, both, I don't know, of the Aspen Institute. He always shows up for us. I'm so just honored at how much Dan supported us, and I just want to say, like, we actually have our trustee meeting going on, and Dan's like, no, I can still be there. So I'm so thankful that you're here. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you to Maureen and Joe, the entire Rutgers team, for your partnership. A big thank you to our supporters with the Ford Foundation, JP Morgan Chase and Company, and Prudential. And of course, thank you to all of you for being here for these 2 days of brainstorming and planning and pulling people together for a really big idea. And it is true, as Maureen said, our trustee meeting is going on. So I can only go stay for a minute, because if I stay out of that room too long, they might vote me out of a job. The Aspen Institute has been around for 75 years, and we're celebrating our 75th anniversary this year. And we came together in 1949 in a time of enormous global unrest. It was in the aftermath of World War II and an ongoing global reconstruction of the economy. Yes, thank you. And we were seeing the beginning of nuclear proliferation. The Soviet Union was expanding. In China, the Communist Party had just taken hold. In the United States, civil rights was moving to the front burner from a back burner. There's so much transition and turmoil in the world when a group of academics from the University of Chicago and a group of business leaders came together in this sleepy silver town called Aspen, almost emptied of people, and met for 2 weeks on nothing less than the future of humanity. They came together to talk about what ideals and ideas associated with the notion of humanism would be a bulwark for a country and a set of allies that were going to have to contend with rapidly escalating change in the global arena, and also in the technologies of war and also of work. And one of the things that the founders of the Aspen Institute knew deep down, really believed, was that the war effort, which stopped Nazi Germany, was won by the Allies, in part because the West had the ability to kind of adhere and say we're going to stand for something, and in part because the economy of America, especially, was able to support the mobilization of people, the development of the weaponry needed, the transport systems needed for America to actually contribute to defending freedom. They just believed deep down that economic strength and democracy could and should be and would have to be two sides of one coin, that the business community would be central to the American future. Now, over time, they came to see it as central to the global future. But when we first came together in 1949, we were asking ourselves, how do we build a society that is inclusive and rights-based and responsive to this idea called human dignity, which had just been affirmed the year before in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights ratification. And as a part of that, build a strong economy so that people could have that feeling of economic opportunity and security and ownership that would be a real binding agent for a society that only works if people sacrifice for one another. And why would we sacrifice for one another if we didn't feel we had a stake in that society and economy providing opportunity for us and for our children and community members in the future? That was basically the Aspen idea. Now, they added to it one other thing, which you also embody, which was that in order to ignite human potential, what was needed was to provide a framework where people could gather together around table after table after table from all perspectives, from all sectors, from all walks of life, and through that dialogue that would be open, inclusive, obviously respectful, creative, build understanding, and then having built understanding, create new possibilities for a better world. And that part around building understanding often is something that we almost move past too quickly sometimes. We say, okay, we know the right solution, let's get everybody mobilized behind the solution, and maybe not even fully understanding how that solution fits with other solutions or whether that solution is perfectly designed. And what you're doing here, the commitment to come back together, data informed, collaborative, obviously very optimistic and creative, to think about employee ownership as a crucial pillar of a strong and growing American economy and potentially global economy is really fantastic. It's exactly in the spirit of what Walter Pepke, who was our founder with his wife Elizabeth, would have hoped would happen when they had that first convening 75 years ago. They never could have known that we'd be meeting in Washington, D.C. They never could have known that Aspen, Colorado would transform from a sleepy silver town into a place you can watch on shows like The Lives of the Rich and Famous. We're still the Aspen Institute. We're unfortunately not the nonprofit of the rich and famous. We're just a normal nonprofit, but a growing one that's trying to build the bridges and the dialogues that then produce the ideas, as Joe knows and Maureen knows, that then can activate collective work for our collective good. So in that spirit, I'd like to thank you for being steadfast and keeping at it and coming together now, annually in order to really work through what this concept could mean for everyday people, for communities, for the business sector, and even more broadly and grandly perhaps, for the sense of American cohesion. So thank you both, and I hope you have a great second day of this conference.